Welcome, Slutty Casper, to Geek Salad's Retro Reviews from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And tonight we are going to conclude our DC chat with a talk about the animated series Harley Quinn, which is currently appearing on HBO Max and originated on
DC Universe.
DC Universe, the DC platform. That was kind of like a mix of Disney Plus and Marvel Unlimited, but
yeah, it kind of failed
mileage may vary.
You kind of failed to do either one well, so they kind of merged it into HBO Max and left DC Universe as just comic books.
Yeah, which is funny too, because I remember our friend Jim turned me on to Marvel Unlimited, and it's like I wish DC had something like this because DC's got like this wealth of comic books, and from everything I've heard, and please, in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, politely, of course, that they really haven't even scratched the basic surface.
Yeah,
what they could do. Like their comic book selection is bordering on terrible.
Yeah, I've actually even heard that they would release some comics and then leave them there for like a few months and then take them away. I'm like, I mean, DC's got a good 30, 40 years on Marvel. Why is Marvel able to do this a lot better?
Which is weird, too, because, I mean, this just feels like the HBO Max thing with Warner Brothers is just pulling stuff left and right. It's like, you're owned by the same company.
Yeah.
How does this happen? But we're not here to talk about HBO Max. We're here to talk about a bright spot on HBO Max's programming, which is the Harley Quinn animated series.
Yes.
Recently concluded its second season. It's slated for a third, which is exciting. And I have to admit, this is what turned my opinion on the character of Harley Quinn.
I've always really loved Harley Quinn ever since Batman the Animated Series.
Right. Well, I mean, in that, I always felt like she was just a sidekick.
Oh, she was.
Right.
But although you gotta say the episodes with Harley and Poison Ivy, as a duo in the Batman the Animated Series, those are definitely some of the bright spots. And this one kind of took that to the next level.
Oh, they took that to the logical level, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, this 2020, honestly, for all the crap that happened, I really feel like 2020 was the year I really appreciated the character of Harley Quinn. Between these two seasons, which were like binge. I don't binge a lot of TV, and I binged this. I think I finished the whole series within a week and a half.
Yeah.
And that's just based on, having to wait for the kids to go to bed so I can watch the grown-up cartoons and stuff.
Yes, this is not for kids.
This is certainly not for kids. It's, but between this and, I'll just call it Birds of Prey for lack of a better, remembering what the updated title was.
I wish you wouldn't, because it's not Birds of Prey. It's
Harley
Quinn. It's the Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah, Birds of Prey and the emancipation of one Miss Harley Quinn.
It's your Twitter handle. You should remember it.
I should remember that, exactly. I really grew to appreciate the character as more than slutty Casper, I guess is the
well, because I haven't seen the movie because my reasons.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that this series and that movie do very well, from what I heard, is that they actually take Harley Quinn and treat her as her own character rather than just a sidekick to the Joker. They realize, you know what? She is a better character on her own without the Joker constantly browbeating her.
Right, exactly. And both the movie and this series do a great job of having her come to terms with that. And I kind of feel like with the animated series, they did an amazing job of just giving them that clean break. And by clean break, it still was contentious and never ending.
Yeah.
But the fact that he just literally left her in Arkham, and she was expecting him to break her out, and he'd kind of gone off and done other things.
Kurt Smith wants to know, is Birds of Prey worth a watch? I know it's very divisive.
All right, so Mike has not seen that. Kurt, thanks for watching again, by the way. I really enjoyed it, and I will tell you why I really enjoyed it. This is obviously not a review for the Birds of Prey movie. However, on the Geek Salad podcast slate, we are going to be ranking the DCEU movies.
Which means I do have to watch it, don't I?
Yeah, you do. And Joe has to watch Justice League, the original. I want to get him so drunk. Yes, it absolutely is worth a watch because, in my opinion, Kurt, the best DCEU movies are the ones that play with the formula more. This is one of the reasons why I love the Marvel movies so much, is because they twist genre, and everything isn't just a straight up superhero movie. Or in the case of most of the DCEU, everything is an extension of a Zack Snyder film. There are so with something like Birds of Prey, it plays like Deadpool, and that was my biggest concern, was that it was just going to be a clone / ripoff of Deadpool. And it isn't at all. This is the first time I really felt like Margot Robbie was a huge star in her own right. Ewan McGregor is a fantastic villain in it, and it keeps the action light and fun, but at the same time, the film does have stakes and does give you a lot to move with. Even though, the actual Birds of Prey, like Huntress, you could have added an additional half hour in the movie just with Huntress alone.
Yeah,
but I think they did a good job of beginning to establish. I know she's one of your favorites.
She's one of my favorite DC characters. Period.
Yeah, they do a good job of establishing where they could take her. But again, it's Harley's movie, and I understand Mike's apprehension to having to watch it. I think if you take the Birds of Prey title out of it, you may actually really enjoy it. And
that is
the confusion with this movie is the fact that it's a that they changed the title halfway through its release.
Yeah, the entire reason I have never watched this movie is because of the title. Because I love Birds of Prey, I love Huntress. I think they're a great series, and the fact that they have to play second fiddle or tertiary fiddle even in their own movie just pisses me off to no end.
Yeah, and if this movie had done better, I feel like you would have gotten that Birds of Prey movie. Unfortunately, two things happen. One, DC fans really suck. They really truly do. If it's not Zack Snyder, if it's not part of the Snyderverse, then it shouldn't count for whatever reason. And then the pandemic hit. So I was happy that they put this on HBO as fast as they did. So Kurt, definitely give it a watch. Obviously I want you to form your own opinion with it. That's what this is all about. But I really do not feel like it's as bad as some have made it out to be. But then again, I can find good points in Wonder Woman 84 as well. But I will tell you, if you haven't listened to it already, check out our friend M's podcast, Verbal Diorama, wherever you get your podcast. And she actually did a full episode on Birds of Prey right around Thanksgiving. So it's in the middle to late November tag. Yeah.
Is it spoiler?
Oh, it is total spoiler. So watch the movie first, and then listen to the review. There's M does not deal in spoilers. So
just wanted to put that out there first before you go listen to it.
Thank you for reminding me. I would have sent them out like, here, go. It's like, damn, ruined it. So thank you for asking. And definitely, Kurt, if you haven't watched this animated show, please watch it. It is fantastic. And I think we kind of originally intended we were going to discuss our favorite episodes, and I think the discussing our favorite episodes is really going to be a minor portion of this, because unlike last week's discussion on Batman the Animated Series, the majority this series flows one into the other, kind of like season 2 of The Mandalorian, where every episode overlaps into the next one.
Although to a certain extent, each episode does work as a standalone, though.
It does, but I feel like there were some times when you kind of have to watch them in order.
Oh yeah.
And they're broken up into segments. So with this, it's the first part is the emancipation of one Harley Quinn from the Joker, after the setup of that very first scene where Joker and Harley have all these bad guys, all these millionaires on their yacht, and then they just incinerate them. And it was like a level of violence I have never seen in a DC cartoon before, and realistically in a DC property before.
Yeah. And it kind of ramps it up towards the end of the episode, where Harley actually breaks up with Joker by slaughtering all of his goons, literally slaughtering them, with guts and entrails flying, and then destroys his hideout.
Yeah. I have likened this series to the Venture Brothers if they got the DC license.
And ramped it up to another level, because even the Venture Brothers pull it back.
A little bit. I mean, Brock Samson just would, like, you'd see him like crushing dudes' skulls in his hands.
Yeah.
Like Sparrow's egg against thigh. But this is like the Venture Brothers is Harley Quinn with off-brand DC characters. This is very much a DC property filmed within the DC animated thing, but it has a sense of realism, or at least, I don't know, realism is definitely not the right word for it, but maybe
has a sense of exaggerated realism almost.
I was actually going to say it has a sense of real world consequence.
Yeah, okay.
The fact that Jim Gordon is a drunk whose wife won't have sex with him anymore.
And he's codependent on Batman.
He's codependent to Batman, exactly. The fact that Batman is too pig-headed and stupid to let his body heal. That he's lying to Alfred to sneak out after his back was broken.
And one of my favorite side characters, Clayface, is a failed actor who, when he transforms into a character, he embodies that person to the fullest act of a thespian.
Hands down, this is the best representation of Clayface, period.
Can we also say Alan Tudyk is a national treasure?
He is. He also voices the Joker, by the way.
Yes.
So he is phenomenal in this. And this voice cast, which you will hear when we discuss this on our podcast, is second to none. Kaylee Cuoco is my Harley Quinn. I love her voice. I love what she does with the character. I really love Lake Bell as Poison Ivy, especially because she taught me something very important about recycling. It's not necessary to wash your plastics before you throw them in the bin. I
love Lake Bell because she plays Ivy very much as the straight woman. Oh. She is absolutely the sense of the voice of reason that Harley Quinn hardly ever listens to.
Yeah, I love that about her, and I love too her struggle that she is considered a supervillain, and if you really pull it back, eco-terrorist maybe, but not really a supervillain.
Yeah, no, I mean she doesn't go robbing banks. She's going after people that are harming the environment, which
exactly.
I mean, she takes it to an extreme level, but it's not a bad goal,
right? But let's just start with the first episode we wanted to talk about. So you want to start a crew? This episode, first of all, I mean, the first two episodes of this were like, okay, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I can't believe what my eyes are showing me right now, because with the first two episodes, it's Harley realizing that she does not need the Joker because the Joker is just part of a toxic relationship. And then her building the relationship with Ivy when they think that they're busting up a LOD meeting. It turns out to be the Penguin's nephew's bar mitzvah. And, voiced by the great Wayne Knight, by the way.
And we're also introduced to my favorite side character,
White Man.
No, Bane.
Oh, Bane. Sorry. If ever they were going to take the Tom Hardy voice and use it with the comics appropriate character, that Bane is fantastic. How many times have I told you? You don't use the LOD credit card for assassinations. You must use cash.
And you took my
Penguin.
Oh yeah. You took my steak when and you said you didn't even want it.
But you are introduced to Kite Man, because let's face it, not every Batman villain is a gem.
They can't all be the Joker.
They all can't be the Joker, exactly. Kite Man and his nemesis, Condiment King, which was just some brilliant jokes. But that third episode is when Harley decides that if she's going to be taken seriously as a supervillain, she needs a crew. And who's she going to find? Well, she finds Clayface, as you mentioned, the wannabe actor. And she finds
the one person that was just kicked out of the Legion of Doom for calling Wonder Woman the C word.
Yep, Dr. Psycho, voiced by Tony Hale.
Brilliantly.
Dr. Psycho is definitely one of those characters that was created probably in the 1950s. I didn't bother to do a Wikipedia look up on him before the show, but he's certainly like one of those characters, kind of like how Shazam used to portray Dr. Savannah. Did you ever see that, Mike? How Dr. Savannah was like, he was like 4 feet tall, and he was just like disproportionately all head and very little body.
No, I never saw that one.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Psycho was 1943.
1943. Okay. But he was probably very, very short with a large head. I love the character trait, too, is that he loves large women. Like, his ex-wife is Big Barda.
Giganta.
Oh, it's Giganta, sorry.
Yeah.
But he just brings, like, because he's so angry all the time. And in college, we used to refer to that as having a Napoleon complex.
Oh, he absolutely does.
Oh, yeah. But in this episode where they start up a crew, it's like the first time you see them working together, and they go to steal Maxie Zeus's Olympic medals.
Maxie Zeus, just when they go to his you can be a supervillain,
seminar.
Yeah, his seminar.
Yeah.
And then she goes to him for advice afterwards, and he's just totally just laying it all hang out, trying to seduce her.
Oh my God! Not only that, the fact is he wears a very short sarong to begin with, and when he sits with his legs open.
He calls her a creepy dick. He's like, and that creepy dick wasn't just an insult. You really need to see a doctor about that. Yeah. And then even when they go to his house, the statue is just hanging out.
Yep. But I love that too, because they managed to sell his medals to buy a nuclear warhead, which they threatened Gotham with, in exchange for naming a highway after her. And the highway shows up later on in the series, and it's to every one of her ridiculous specifications. It doesn't exist in the real world how ridiculous this highway is.
Yeah. Think of a Hot Wheels highway.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a Hot Wheels highway. It's perfect. I think I put one of those together for my son over Christmas. It's so good. It's just the balance of these characters, and when the crew is finally assembled, they add King Shark. I love King Shark because he's so laid back until he has to be a shark.
Mhm.
When he's got called upon to be a shark, he just walks up to dudes and like bites their heads off, and then just like one little snap, bites their heads off, and just walks off to do what he needs to do.
He's just like just a very chill guy. You know, he's just playing away on his computer. As soon as he smells blood in the water, though,
Yeah.
he is a shark. He is full on shark.
And I love that version of him. And this is the kind of stuff I want to see more of in live action. I want to see them have more fun with these characters. Again,
Cyborg
kind of in the same way that the MCU has fun with their characters, and that, you know, as we've mentioned many times before, altruism is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Now, what episode did you want to talk about?
Well, besides that one, my next episode is not until like the end of the second season, so maybe we should go for your episode first.
Okay, well, after that, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that happens. It's kind of hard because, again, I feel like I binged this to the point where episodes blended together. I had to look up the title for the So You Want to Start a Crew. But there's
this series is also great because it's has a wicked awesome sense of humor, but it's still about Harley. I mean, the story is still about Harley and who she wants to be and how she gets to be there. And it has a very serious undertone through all the hilarity.
It does. There are episodes that end on more of a dour note than other episodes do, especially when you're dealing with like these 3-parters where it looks like her friendship with Ivy is over. Or at the end of the first season. I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything in terms of the end of the first season, but if you were watching this when it was new, you'd be pissed how they left that, because it is a very good cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, very much so.
Fortunately, I didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. But we're introduced to other characters along the way too. Her landlord, Cyborgman,
voiced by
Jason Alexander.
Yeah,
I just love that name, Jason.
They got two Seinfeld. They got two Seinfeld alumni.
And I love him too because he's kind of brought into the crew almost accidentally because he was going to try. It was Ivy's apartment that they were living in, and he just was a great landlord because he wouldn't ask any questions. And then when nobody was there, and they were all like, oh, they were all in Harley's mind, and they're all just catatonic, and he was just like, oh, what do we do with them? Well, I guess we just cremate them then. Bring them down to the incinerator.
And the incinerator was in an old abandoned mall that he owned. And he decided to move in there.
Yeah. But yeah, no, with the second season, you get to know more of, you know, some of the characters. You get to learn a little bit of King Shark's backstory, the romance between Kite Man and Ivy blossoms, which is really cool. Oh, that is one thing about the first season I wanted to bring up, that there is a point where Harley does join the LOD, but all of her crew are essentially assigned henchman roles, and she can't keep her own crew, so they're like sent out with like Two-Face's crew. They have to deal with like Two-Face's crap with how his crew has to run.
And I think, what was it, Clayface and King Shark are rented out to Bane because he wants to get revenge on this Starbucks guy for constantly
misspelling his name.
Misspelling his name, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. It really is a fantastic show. And the second season has a lot more like sadder points to it. This is the stuff I don't want to give away because I want people to watch it. However, it may have one of the best openings of all time.
Oh yeah.
When they shit on the two fanboys. That actually like made like Twitter news.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's funny when you read the IMDb user reviews on this, there's a lot of people that do not like this show because they kind of feel like it goes off in an SJW vein, and it most certainly does not.
No.
Not at all. I don't know what they're talking about, but we'll leave that up to their interpretation, I guess. But you're wrong. So, what about you? What episode do you want to?
Well, like I love. There's an episode towards the it's kind of the ending, the beginning of the final arc.
It's the beginning of the end. I think it's like 3 or 4 episodes prior to the end.
It's like it's like 3 episodes before the end.
Yeah,
and it's basically it kind of it kind of tells you what happened to the Joker after the first season finale, and it kind of I'm trying to not do spoilers here, but let's just say it takes a couple of relationships and it starts really making a couple of the main characters really take a hard look at the relationship that they want to be in,
right,
and where they want to take it.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. What's that episode called, by the way?
It's A Fight Worth Fighting For.
Okay. It is a very good episode. And that's kind of the issue. I want people to really, this isn't like last week when we were talking about a show that's almost 30 years old. We're talking about a show that's a year and a half old.
Yeah.
And really, it's just so worth it. It really is. It's definitely one of those things that I can recommend if you haven't done so already as a quarantine watch. It's definitely one of those shows that is quarantine watch worthy.
Yeah, and it's not even a long watch either. It's 2 seasons, 13 episodes a season, like 20, 25 minutes a piece.
The shows range between 25 to 30 minutes long, and again, because it was based on non-commercial broadcast, it's not like the 22-minute episodes you would see of something like Batman or any really other cartoons for that matter.
Right.
So I mean, overall, I really love this show. And if you haven't given it a try and you have HBO Max, you know what? Even if you're holding off until, is it March they're doing the Snyder Cut, or is it May? I thought it was May, but now
I don't know, and I don't care. I'm not watching 4 hours. I
have to though. That's the thing. We might have to do this.
I semi enjoy Justice League on its own. I mean, 2 hours honestly is more than enough for that movie. I don't want to watch 4 hours of Batman v Superman.
Like, we'll get through it together, buddy.
I didn't even like 2.5 hours of Batman v Superman. I fucking hated that movie.
Oh, I know that. I was with you, and you had seen it already. You watched me go through.
I saw it twice in the theaters.
Torture. Thank you, by the way. It was a nice
You're
birthday.
Welcome. No, it wasn't. I've given you much better gifts.
Like, again with the alleyway.
Why is he Luther? Why the Jolly Rancher? Why the Jolly Rancher?
Why am I spending all of this movie asking why? Oh, it's not hard. But again, we're not talking about that. We are talking about Harley Quinn. I recommend it. I highly recommend this show if you are a fan of Harley Quinn. If you're not a fan of Harley Quinn and you can't quite put your finger on why, watch this show. I think you might change your mind, because I'm just an insensitive bastard. I thought this show was fantastic.
You know what? Batgirl is one of my favorite DC characters as well. I think they did a fine job with her. I love
her character.
And she's also voiced by Kaylee Cuoco's younger sister. So
that's true. That's true. And oh, by the way, Chris Maloney voices Jim Gordon.
No. He's such a sad figure.
I'm gonna go up the fridge now. What'd you say? I'm gonna jump the bridge? No, it sounded like you said you're gonna hump the fridge. his immortal character Gene in Wet Hot American Summer.
And he forms an odd friendship with Clayface's hand.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this entire series again. My issue is I'm still getting through season 4 of Big Mouth right now, and watching grown-up TV is tough when you only have one TV in the house.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm making my way through Star vs. the Forces of Evil now. Fun show.
Nice. So, anything else you want to say, or do you want to leave this to our comment section to let us know what they think of Harley Quinn?
Yeah, I want to try to keep this as spoiler free as possible, so that you have the joy of enjoying this show, in its entirety on your own.
I promise you, if you are a fan of superhero cartoons, you're a fan of DC, you will enjoy this so very much.
Just again, not for kids at all.
No.
The language is R-rated. The violence is R-rated. Yep. It is an R-rated cartoon.
What did Joker call Riddler after he accused him of stealing his gimmick? He's just like the world's most indirect asshole.
I know Frank the Plant regularly says, "I'm a you motherfucker." Yeah,
exactly.
I love Frank the Plant too.
It's like JB Smoove, right?
That's JB Smoove, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I highly recommend it. HBO Max. I'm sure you can find them on Blu-ray as well, or I think they may still be on the DC Unlimited whatever platform thing.
There is supposedly a 3rd season coming, so yes, can't wait.
Yeah, unfortunately with animated, it's easier. I can't say it's easier to do an animated film during quarantine, but here we are.
Who doesn't watch a superhero movie that's longer than Godfather Part 2? Christmas. Who doesn't want to watch a superhero movie that's longer than me? Me. I don't want to watch a superhero movie that's longer than Godfather Part 2.
Kurt, I'm not going to lie to you. I will probably be drinking throughout this. I might actually have some cookie, if you will, to get myself through it. I might just have to soldier on for everybody, Mike, the Geek Salad crew, because I know Joe's going to be like, no, I can't. No, I love the DC so much. I can't do this.
Oh, I hope they do kind of break it up into parts, because that's the only way I'd be able to make it through.
Honestly, the only way you're going to be able to break it up into parts is by pressing pause, leaving, and coming back to it later.
I'm fine. I'll make that sacrifice.
Okay. And keep in mind, I sat through almost all of The Irishman. And then I'm like, there's 20 minutes left? All right, I got to go to bed. Screw this.
Wow. You're a brave man, sir. You're a brave man.
Well, yeah, it was like, this is the closest thing I can get to Oscar movies now. And it's been over a year since I've been to an actual movie theater, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are your thoughts on Harley Quinn? Leave a polite comment below, please. Also, don't forget, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're not doing so already. If you like what we're doing here, please share this video too. We really love the feedback. We love getting new subscribers. We love all that because we bring you nerdly goodness every week. Also, Mike and I host a podcast called Geek Salad, which you can check out wherever you get your podcast. So Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, you name it, we're there, and you can check out our episodes soon. Mike's editing this one, so it'll be better.
Yes.
Better able to answer this than I will be. Is our 2-part discussion of DC animated shows.
I'm taking tomorrow off, so I should be able to do a lot of editing.
Oh, good for you! Awesome.
Well, so I have like 50 hours of PTO I need to use up.
Oh, nice. I can do that too. I get a lot of rollover vacation time I need if I'm going to accrue more. First world problems. Yeah. So yeah, we should hopefully maybe have that episode up by the end of the week. Would you say?
Oh yeah, easy.
Awesome. And I am going to announce here and now that earlier this week or 5 days ago, we put a poll on our Twitter at Geek Salad Radio, which we are most active on. If you're not subscribed to us already, please follow us. We asked, we are going to be doing the Pixar movies we asked, would you want them sequentially or just scattered throughout? So, Kurt, I know you're watching, and I know M wanted this too. Y'all wanted them sequential, just from now until the end. We are going to the results actually spoke. We're going to be doing them interspersed throughout the year. However, we are going to attempt to do them as best of the chronological release order as possible. Keeping in mind that we've already done Toy Story, we've already done Ratatouille, we've already done The Incredibles.
Yes. I think that was it.
Yeah, that is it. So
yeah.
So we got a lot to still go through,
yes,
fortunately. And I have to watch a good dinosaur. So
well, that means I've got to get through the Cars movies.
Yeah, those might all be like one total episode, by the way, because I don't know if I'd want to dedicate 3 conversations separately and interspersed.
Yeah, there's only so much Larry the Cable Guy I can really take.
Yeah. So anyway, that is the forward. I believe next week we will begin with Bug's Life.
Yeah, awesome. That's the next one. Yep.
Awesome. Also, no promises because it's still in the planning stages. Next week we're going to be debuting a new show on the Geek Salad channel, where we are going to be discussing records. We are. It's still in the planning stages. I've got the buy-in from the people that are involved with it. All we need to do is come up with the title, and Mike's going to show me how to run StreamYard. So once we get that going, you will be seeing new stuff, which, again, you can check out on our social media when I advertise it, Geek Salad Radio at Twitter, and on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. If you're a fan of the show and you want to support us, go to our TeePublic store, buy a t-shirt, buy a mug. It's TeePublic, keyword Geek Salad Podcast. We love the support. Thank you, and thank you to everybody who watched tonight, and to everybody who will be watching not live. And until next time, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful. We will talk to you later.
Gotta hit the end. Sorry.